Hello everyone, are you ready for another adventure? It's me, Wokey, and I'm back with another Fake Grand Order video. And what's today's video? That's right, after almost 2 years, I get to finally talk about the unit that I've been waiting 2 years for. So that's going to be today's video. In theory, it should be a short one, but I did a recording version of this one and it almost went 20 minutes long to talk about a single unit. So... just get ready for it if you're ready for it. So we're going to be talking about the upcoming Kuku banner. If you're worried about specific spoilers, I'm not going to go into any story details. Unless you consider looking at certain pictures of it a spoiler, I guess. But in terms of story details, I'm still going through the story myself, so I'm obviously not going to say anything. And yeah, so let's get into it. So... Tez's banner, as you can see here, was not on the 6th. It was on the 15th, which technically this started on the 14th, which would have been 8 p.m. and then at midnight it was 15th. So when does that mean that Kuku is going to be coming? So she came a week after. So in theory, it's either going to be the 21st or the 22nd at 8 p.m. With me thinking it's probably going to be the 21st. Over the 22nd, because usually I think this is the way they do it, if I remember correctly. I can actually just look at an event back here just to show what I mean. Because FGO does this all the time with events, where it usually starts at midnight, and a week later from midnight is a little bit different from the time that you would expect. So I can look at the summoning quest. So you can see here, 18th, and then, actually, this might be a bad example now that I think about it. Let me see, this was in July 18th. So yes, you can see here. It says here that the first banner was released on the 18th, but then this banner that was coming a week later was on the 24th, but that's because it started technically on the 17th. So that's my long way of saying it's going to likely be here on... the 21st, but it also could be sooner, because I also have bad memories of when Oberon was coming out for Lost Belt 6, and I kept getting that date wrong, just over and over and over again. So they could release it early if they want to, but my current guess is, yeah, 21st, no later than that specific date. In terms of what the banner looks like, it's very similar to this banner, because it also features Talak here, and it also features Kuku on it, and it also features, well, they're not featured, they're not on rate up, but they do have the new CEs that come in. If you want to know how I feel about Talak, I think she's an extremely good unit and is a fantastic backup, or even if you're going for her as the main one, she's good either way. As someone who's going for Kuku, I'm glad that she's on rate up because she's a fantastic unit. I actually currently have her at 888 skills, and I can already loop grind with her with Quick, which is something I can't do with certain servants at NP4 and full skills at level 10, but I can at 888 with Talak over here, so very good at what she does. In terms of the actual banner unit, we will finally take a look at Kuku herself. Before I actually get into talking about it, I think it's fair enough to make it very clear. I have an extreme bias towards this character. Thankfully, she's already good. But know that going in there, if you feel like it's too much, I literally can't control it. So I will at least tell you up front, if you feel that way, it's fine. You can even disagree with me, I don't care. I still think she's as good, even if I removed my biases. I can sometimes be able to remove them, like with Super Bunyan, where I think Super Bunyan is lacking, even though I love Super Bunyan, and I have her grail to level 100. But anyway, Kuku. She is a foreigner. She has 1 quick, 1 arts, 3 buster, going full gorilla on the kit. Her first skill is the Charisma of the Jade 8+, increases party's attack for 3 turns, increases the party's crit attack chance resistance for 3 turns, and then optionally you can spend 10 Sing Quartz for an increase to their own attack. I forget, they put in the 500% chance to consume it, because I assume they really don't want you to be able to avoid this demerit. Anyway, the attack increase is 20%, the crit chance resistance is 30%, and the optional attack increase is 30% on a cooldown of 5. Her second skill is the We Are the Winged Serpent EX, charges 1 ally's MP gauge, and then optionally you can choose to pay 10 crit stars and also grant them an evasion for 2 attacks 3 turns, and then grant them an ignore evasion for 3 turns, 50% to the MP cooldown, and this is on a cooldown of 6. Her third skill is the Golden Sea of the Trees, a Travelogue EX. Grant self-invincibility for a single turn. Increase the Buster performance for 3 turns. Increase on crit damage for 3 turns. And then you can again pay 10 Zen rewards. Not pay 10, that would be insane. Pay 10 critical stars. Increase on NP damage for 3 turns. 30% to Buster. 50% to crit damage. 30% to MP damage on a cooldown of 6. Her passive skills are Civilization Creation EX. Increase the party's debuff success rate by 8% while self is on the field. And this this ability, which is currently at ? Until after you clear Nahu Mictlan, it converts own invincibility status to the anti-purge defense status, and then also gain 10 crit stars every turn. And then also charge your own MP gauge by 3% every turn. The note here is that the conversion to anti-purge defense will occur for invincibility effects actively triggered during battle. Any that are passively activated before the battle, such as Craft Essence effects, will still remain as the standard invincibility status. So you can't just give her a CE with invincibility and say she has anti-purge defense, actually. You have to actually give them to them. Her third skill is an anti-moon cancer attack damage aptitude, and her noble phantasm, which is rank EX, is the Kinnick Ahu Impact, the forthcoming fall of a star from space. It is a rank EX anti-world Buster. Hits 5 times, but it doesn't matter because it's Buster. Increase on damage against the threat to humanity enemies by 50% for a single turn. This activates first. Deals damage to all enemies, seal their skills for a single turn, and then gain 30 crit stars. At MP level 1, the damage is 300%. At MP level 5, it's 500%. And then also as an overcharge, deal extra damage against enemies with the Earth attribute, 150% at charge level 1, and if you get them all the way to the final charge level, 200% extra bonus damage against fighting someone with Earth on them. And that is Kuku for the most part. How good are they? Like, as I mentioned at the start, even though I have a very clear bias, and I've been waiting for this unit for 2 years, she's actually a fantastic unit. Some of the negatives that she may have, we may as well try and focus on some of them that I can find. There's not many. For some people, you would think that this ability here, which is spending 10 crit stars to get additional bonuses, would come off kind of weird to work with, just because, hey, if you don't have those 10 crit stars available, then you don't get the bonuses of it, which I guess is a way to kind of balance out the ability. But the problem is, I guess the solution is, she actually solves a very funny equation, which is that Koyanskaya, on her second skill, Koyanskaya is the main Buster support, if you're not aware, for looping purposes. On her second skill, she actually does give 20 crit stars, and when you're going double Koyan, you get 40 crit stars on turn 1. That's enough to activate every single one of her skills. And still have 10 critical stars. I don't know why I keep calling him St. Quartz. I really hope I haven't been saying that throughout it all. Yeah, you'll be left over with 10 crit stars, and then on turn 3, when these would come back, yeah, you would in theory be looping, and you'd be able to get back the 30 crit stars because you get it from her Noble Phantasm. So on the final turn, you'd be able to use them all again, and it would all be good. So she works wonders with this specific support. Obviously, if you're not doing that support, then I guess it is actually a little bit annoying that you have to... If in order to get the stronger version of an effect, you do have to pay crit stars. If you're specifically looking for damage, that can be a bummer for the first and third skill, but if all you care about is charging an MP gauge to any ally, then I guess it doesn't really matter too much that you're giving them evasion and ignore evasion. But still, it can come in very handy. Not saying that it's bad, I'm just saying that specifically if you had pushed a shove and you couldn't afford the 10 crit stars, and some fights don't technically need this, even though evasion would actually be very good. But anyway, I'm going in circles. That's really the only clear negative that I can see. I remember trying to look to find negatives, so I was like, what could you possibly say negatively about this this unit? And one of the funniest ones that I saw is that for looping purposes, it's one extra click, which is clicking on the yes to say, I would like to pay 10 crit stars. And that tiny bit of time will eat up at your looping, which is such a dumb thing to complain about, that you have to literally look for things to find. In terms of what she does well, that's that's kind of a no-brainer. Literally every single thing about her is insane. The ability to pump the party's attack and while also giving them crit attack resistance means that you can use her not only for, like I said, looping, which she does fantastic at, but you can also use her in certain challenge quests where the critical attack chance resistance can come in very handy. In specific challenge quests, again, the ability to not only charge any allies' MP gauge can be huge, but also being able to give them some more protection and or put them on the offensive means that you can do a lot of things with this. I think it's very cool. And the third skill is just good in general. The ability to grant yourself invincibility, which also triggers her passive, which turns that invincibility into anti-purge defense, is amazing stuff. And like I mentioned with the Tez video, for example, for some silly synergy, if you use Tez's ability that converts invincibility, that gives invincibility, and then says you can't apply invincibility, you'd just be giving them anti-purge defense instead of invincibility because you can't actually place invincibility on them. Very funny. The Noble Phantasm is also very good. It makes her very strong against threat to humanity enemies. The ability to seal skills can come in very handy if you're going against a specific fight that just is super annoying with all the skills. They'll be able to pull them off you for a bit. If you're fighting against an Earth attribute enemy, you'll be able to do an additional damage. And the ability to gain 30 crit stars just from her NP alone is really nice. This being an AoE, obviously if you're fighting a singular enemy, you might be lacking a little bit in damage, but the extra support that she can kind of give the team can make up for that in certain instances. Plus she is full Buster Gorilla'd out, so you could even just go Merlin and go full devotion into Buster Crit, or you couldn't even have to do Merlin. You could honestly do Summer Scotty, because Summer Scotty also gives 100% crit damage to Buster cards, so you could go that way as well if you wanted to. Very good unit. I guess another slight negative. It's not really a negative. They gave it. I think they chose not to give her to this just because it would make her too crazy. She doesn't have existence outside of the domain, so she's a foreigner that doesn't have that, which means that she can't be used with the Van Gogh team comp setup for crazy, silly crit damage, which is probably by design. They figured she already had plenty of good to her. There's no reason for her to also have this, and maybe we'd be giving something a little bit too crazy off. Which is fair enough. She can do the classic loop like I mentioned at the beginning, which is just 50% on a CE or even 30% if you have this second skill unlocked, so that she starts with 20% of it right there. And then later on, when Summer Chloe comes out, you should be able to loop with the Black Rail, but that's something a lot of units are going to be able to do once Summer Chloe comes in. But it is nice that she's able to do it as a Buster unit, because not every Buster unit is usually capable of doing it. It has to be in very certain conditions that you're able to achieve it. And for like example, Arc, which has to use who can grind with the Black Rail, but uses a very specific team comp to ensure that she's actually able to get the full at least on NA at the moment. On JP it's a different story because they have the ability to give her a pen skill that kind of takes that away. So yes, that's Kuku. She's a fantastic unit. I could literally go on and keep saying it, but it's really just beating a dead horse on a drum. You can use her in the story and see for yourself how good she is. I can't wait to wait for her. I can't wait to be done finishing. I have over 1,000 Sync Quartz at the ready for her, trying to go for NP5. I'll see if I'll be able to do it. And I guess since this is a question that occasionally pops up, because I see it very often, I'll usually see the thing which is like, I'm going to be summoning for Draco, but the units that are coming up are very good. Should I summon? And my answer to that is Kuku actually does have another banner coming later in the year. You can see it right, I think it's for Ordeal Call right here. So yeah, in June she actually comes back again. If I remember right, this might be the banner. Yes. So she comes back again in this year. And she comes back next year. And she's going to come back this year on JP. And they are very good about returning her. The thing about Draco in particular is that Draco is a very rare unit. So if you really, really want Draco, and you're someone who is either free to play or you're like not really going for it, I guess you're free to play or you're starting right now, I would seriously suggest saving everything you can for Draco, because that's the unit that you want to go for, and it doesn't matter how good any of the other units are if it's not the unit that you actually care about. If you're someone who only cares about meta, then obviously you try and figure it out, and be like, yeah, Kuku is an amazing unit to have for that, and that's good enough reason to go for it. Not to say that Draco isn't, because Draco is also very good. It's just that they have two like different functions, so it's weird. It's like a weird apples and oranges to kind of compare them. But they're both definitely worth going for. The answer to the question of how balls to the wall do I go, it really depends on the person. I would always suggest, if you love Draco that much and you love Nero and you're like, no, I need this unit and I would feel actively bad if I didn't have him, you have to save everything that you can, because unless you have exactly 900 St. Quartz, 300 tickets, or exactly 300 summons, you are not guaranteed the unit. I literally saw people summoning for Tez who went 600 St. Quartz and did not get Tez. With those kind of odds, you really, really need to prepare for the worst. And when the worst comes, and you don't have the 900 St. Quartz and you fail to get Draco, then it's going to be really rough. She does show up again next year, but that's only because they forced it. They've said in plenty of interviews that they want beast units to be extremely rare, and I don't doubt it, that if it wasn't for people voting for the Draco event to return, she would not have returned so soon. On the GSSR, they've also kind of made it clear that the only way to get them is to use the 30 paid St. Quartz ones that's currently only available during Anniversary. That's the only one they want you to do, because the one that you have to actively choose her to become in there, and they will not ever add her or any of the beast units to banners where it's a wide pool of a random unit. They only will add them to the 30 St. Quartz. So with that in mind, it's, again, I'm telling you, save for the people that you care about, and keep saving, and don't let anything I say about any of the other units about how good they are distract you from your main goal and your main mission. And that's, again, to the people who are specifically torn up about it and are like, well, I can maybe say something. If anything, if you think that you can spare a multi, or if you can spare like a couple tickets, then go ahead and do it. And then just be like, well, I satisfied my need, and now I will wait for my actual girl to come. Because, again, even though it's one thing to say, like, specifically, hey, like, you should wait and save, it's another thing to actually do it. It's very tough, actually, because these games prey on people to be able to summon. They make it as enticing as possible. They make you like the character as much as they could in the story and stuff like that. They make them powerful. They do absolutely everything that they can. It's just that you have to fight back at a certain case. And at least for Kuku, I'll say, there'll be plenty of banners for the future. And if you're someone who super cares about Draco, it's only looking like 2, which is the banner she debuts on, and then the banner that it gets a rerun, and that's it so far. I think they said that they want to rerun every unit that they have this year in 2025. We'll just have to wait and see what happens in there, but I would suggest always to make a game plan when it comes to the beast units, because yeah, their super limited status super sucks. I can't imagine missing both of the beast units and being like, well, I want to chase them for the GSSR. Oh wait, I can only pick one of them, because of course they take up the extra slot that is only beast. So kind of annoying. But anyway, I think I've talked long enough. That is Kuku. I can't wait to summon. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to finally use them. I can't wait to finish the story so that I can start grinding these stupid materials, because if you don't know, she takes a lot of them. It's at least a silver currency. It's not as bad as Tez, but it's still pretty bad. That's like 45 of materials to fully do the skills, and then an additional 10 for the full ascension. So yay. I think if you do story, you might have exactly enough for that, but that's basically it, I think. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to doing as much funny team comps as I can, and just to be honestly, to finally be done waiting, and then probably thinking about, all right, who's the next pick? Because I don't know, after this one, I don't know who's next. If I'm able to get her NP5, I think legitimately, I don't have a reason to summon for a unit ever again. And the only time I would be summoning is to get a single copy just so I can have for my own personal collection. Because Summer Ibuki already kind of takes care of most events that I'm playing. That's why it's probably not a good idea to chase an MP5 unit. Because once you have them NP5, it almost completely invalidates a lot of your box, because you're just like, why would I want to use them? You have to force yourself to use them knowing that they are the weaker unit and you're doing that. But anyway, 20 minutes still. I will see you guys in the next video. You guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys hopefully soon for the next video and for whenever I'm on standby for when Kuku is ready to be summoned for. You guys enjoy your day. Peace out.